If you passed on buying that weird motorcycle sitting alone in the corner of the dealership over the past 2 years, you missed the pattern that's about to cost you thousands. And you're not the only one. Right now, 3 specific motorcycles are gathering dust on dealer lots across America, while collectors quietly circle like vultures. Industry insiders are calling this the sleeper cycle. Bikes that manufacturers discontinued or never properly marketed, now sitting at original MSRP while their predecessors sell for double on the used market. We're talking about machines that cost $8,000 new, but will command $15,000 within 18 months once the motorcycle community catches on. So if you're still walking past these forgotten bikes thinking they're there for a reason, here's what you need to know before the discovery happens. Hit subscribe now if you want to be ahead of the motorcycle market, not chasing it. What hidden gem are you eyeing? But before we start, the pattern has been right in front of us for decades. Every valuable motorcycle collection today features machines that dealers couldn't sell when new. It's almost formulaic. Limited production numbers plus market indifference plus engineering excellence equals future classic. Yet most buyers miss these signals until prices skyrocket. Consider the Ducati Monster, launched in 1993 to widespread confusion. Dealers couldn't move them initially. A naked bike when fairings were all the rage. Fast forward, and clean. Early monsters command $15,000 or more. The bike that created the modern naked segment sat unwanted for months before the market caught on. The Kawasaki Ninja 250R tells a similar story. In 2008, these beginner bikes languished on showroom floors. Dealers practically begged people to take them home. When production ended, something unexpected happened. Prices climbed steadily until clean examples were selling for $6,000, more than their original MSRP. The cheap starter bike became a collector's item. Then there's the Honda VFR 800, perhaps the most telling example. Dismissed as a boring sport tourer throughout its production, the VFR was overlooked despite housing one of motorcycling's engineering marvels, Honda's bulletproof V4 engine. Today, low-mileage examples trade for more than they cost new, as riders discover what they missed: perfect reliability, sublime engineering, and the versatility that makes motorcycling practical. These weren't isolated incidents. They represent a pattern that repeats with remarkable consistency across brands and decades. The motorcycles that gain value aren't the ones with the loudest marketing or the most aggressive styling. They're the ones with substance that gets recognized too late. Today's motorcycle landscape offers these same opportunities, perhaps even more pronounced than before. Social media hype cycles drive buyers toward whatever generates clicks, leaving genuinely exceptional machines sitting unwanted. The smart money isn't chasing what's popular now. It's recognizing what will be valuable later. The modern dealership faces pressures invisible to casual buyers. Behind those gleaming showrooms lies a financial ticking clock: floor plan financing. Dealers pay interest on every motorcycle that sits unsold, creating mounting pressure to move lot queens that have lingered beyond 180 days. While premium adventure bikes and flashy sport bikes fly out the door, certain machines sit untouched, despite representing superior value. This dealer desperation creates the perfect buying opportunity, but only if you understand the forces at work. Manufacturers like Suzuki, Triumph, and Honda simply can't match the marketing firepower of Ducati's $50 million campaigns, or BMW's adventure lifestyle marketing machine. Their practical models get buried under an avalanche of sponsored content and influencer hype. The social media influence problem compounds this market distortion. YouTube reviewers and Instagram personalities gravitate toward whatever generates views: exotic European machines, radical designs, and headline-grabbing power figures. The result? Mechanically superior motorcycles remain invisible to the buying public simply because they don't generate enough clicks. This invisibility extends to dealer showrooms, where bikes with intimidating spec sheets get avoided. The Rocket 3's massive 2,500 cubic centimeters displacement scares away riders who would be perfectly capable of handling its docile power delivery. The NC750X's modest specifications appear boring on paper, despite offering advantages that matter in real riding: exceptional fuel economy, integrated storage, and bulletproof reliability. The gap between perception and reality in the motorcycle market has never been wider. While the community obsesses over horsepower numbers and brand prestige, truly significant engineering achievements go unrecognized. This disconnect creates blind spots that savvy buyers can exploit. Dealers know which bikes aren't moving. Manufacturers know which models are underappreciated. But the buying public, influenced by an echo chamber of enthusiast media and social platforms, remains fixated on whatever generates the most noise. The resulting market inefficiency creates the perfect scenario for contrarian investors and riders who recognize substance over style. Suzuki's GSX-S 1000 GT represents perhaps the most egregious market oversight happening right now. Housing the legendary K5 engine architecture, the same basic design that powered their dominant GSX-R 1000 superbikes, the GT offers bulletproof reliability with performance credentials proven over 2 decades. Yet buyers dismiss it as old tech, while flocking to European alternatives with expensive valve service requirements and questionable long-term durability. Suzuki's marketing surrender is palpable. While European brands bombard social media with emotional messaging and lifestyle content, Suzuki quietly builds perhaps the most sensible sport touring platform on the market, and then fails to tell anyone about it. Dealers report GSX-S 1000 GTs sitting untouched for months, while inferior competitors sell for higher prices. Triumph's Rocket 3 faces a different challenge: the niche trap. This engineering marvel packs the largest production motorcycle engine ever built, refined handling that defies its visual mass, and build quality that embarrasses bikes costing thousands more. Yet most dealers order just one for halo effect, to draw people into showrooms where they'll ultimately buy something else. The intimidation factor and insurance misconceptions keep buyers away, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where limited floor exposure leads to limited sales. Honda's NC750X suffers from internal cannibalization. The company's marketing dollars flow toward promoting the Africa Twin and Transalp adventure bikes, despite the NC750X offering superior value and practicality for 90% of riders. The bike's innovative features, integrated storage where the fuel tank normally sits, an available dual-clutch automatic transmission, and incredible 70+ miles per gallon efficiency, get overshadowed by Honda's own offerings. The American passion problem explains much of this market disconnect. U.S. buyers make emotional motorcycle purchases rather than practical ones, prioritizing image and brand identity over utility. This cultural preference leaves utility-focused machines gathering dust in showrooms despite offering better real-world performance and ownership experience. Enthusiast media bias compounds the problem. Motorcycle magazines and reviewers actively harm sales of practical bikes by focusing exclusively on track metrics and peak performance figures that have virtually no relevance to everyday riding. When a bike like the NC750X gets dismissed for being 10 seconds slower around a track than sportier alternatives, the review neglects to mention the massive advantages it offers in comfort, efficiency, and livability. The evidence of market rejection sits in plain sight on dealer floors nationwide. Specific examples abound. GSX-S 1000 GTs with 2022 manufacturing dates, still available as new in early 2026, sitting for 200+ days, while European alternatives with known reliability issues sell immediately at higher prices. Dealers report slashing prices on these Suzukis to move inventory, creating unprecedented value for informed buyers. The Rocket 3's insurance myth reveals the power of misinformation in the market. Despite buyer assumptions about massive insurance costs for its 2,500 cubic centimeter engine, the bike's cruiser classification actually results in lower insurance premiums than many sport bikes with half the displacement. This perception gap keeps qualified buyers away from a machine that will inevitably become collectible due to its engineering uniqueness. Honda's NC750X suffers from the boring bike stigma, the same dismissive attitude that once surrounded the now valuable CB750 and VFR series. Its practical design and available automatic transmission get labeled as not a real motorcycle by the same community that will pay premium prices for vintage Honda automatics once they're rare enough. The contradiction reveals how market timing creates value more than intrinsic quality. This market rejection accelerates depreciation in the short term, creating artificial price drops that savvy buyers can exploit. Meanwhile, mechanically inferior bikes hold value through marketing hype alone, creating a market inefficiency that will eventually correct itself. The opportunity window remains open precisely because dealer desperation to clear floor space creates negotiation leverage. Once these bikes gain recognition, whether through influencer discovery, production ending, or changing market preferences, this leverage disappears instantly. We're witnessing the exact conditions that preceded every significant motorcycle value increase in history. Limited production, market indifference, and engineering excellence combine while prices remain suppressed. The only question is whether buyers will recognize the pattern before it completes once again. The Suzuki vindication timeline is already taking shape. As the K5 engine architecture approaches its 20-year refinement period, riders are beginning to recognize what engineers have known all along. This power plant represents the Toyota 2JZ of motorcycles. Its 50,000-mile maintenance intervals, robust power delivery, and proven durability stand in stark contrast to competitors requiring valve adjustments every 15,000 miles. When discovery fully occurs, expect GSX-S1000 GT values to follow the same trajectory as the now coveted GSX-R1000K5 models. The smart money is positioning now, while dealers are eager to move inventory and prices remain suppressed. Triumph's Rocket 3 faces a rarity premium inevitability. Its limited production numbers and complete lack of direct competition create the perfect conditions for value appreciation once the intimidation factor disappears. As riders discover its surprisingly manageable handling and reasonable running costs, demand will surge for a supply that can't possibly increase. The Honda utility revolution represents perhaps the most certain market shift. Rising gas prices, urban congestion, and changing demographics are already making the NC750X's 70 miles per gallon efficiency and built-in storage more valuable than any sport bike's horsepower claims. As practical, efficient motorcycling gains prominence, this platform will be recognized as ahead of its time. The broader collector market shift is already underway. Practical, reliable, low-maintenance motorcycles are becoming the new vintage gold as younger buyers prioritize ownership costs over brand prestige. This generation learned from watching their predecessors struggle with temperamental Italian machines and expensive German repairs. Watch for the dealer inventory correction that always precedes value spikes. As manufacturers reduce production of these underappreciated models, artificial scarcity will develop. By the time the market recognizes their value, new examples will be unavailable, accelerating the price increase of used machines. This pattern has repeated so consistently that ignoring it amounts to financial negligence for any serious motorcycle enthusiast. The machines gathering dust today will command premiums tomorrow, just as they always have throughout motorcycling history. The first critical mistake most buyers make is following the crowd. While the masses chase marketing hype and social media trends, they miss opportunities to acquire superior machines at discount prices. The GSX-S 1000 GT, Rocket 3, and NC750X all suffer from this herd mentality avoidance, despite offering class-leading capabilities. The second mistake is spec sheet shopping, focusing exclusively on peak horsepower figures and brand prestige while ignoring factors that actually determine ownership satisfaction: maintenance costs, reliability, and total cost of ownership. The bikes currently being overlooked excel precisely in these real-world metrics. The third and perhaps most costly error is timing the market wrong. Waiting for proof that these motorcycles are valuable means paying collector premiums instead of dealer clearance prices. By the time motorcycle media declares these bikes hidden gems, the financial opportunity will have vanished. Successful contrarians understand this dynamic. Early Ducati monster buyers acquired their machines for fractions of current values. Honda VFR collectors assembled collections, while others dismissed them as boring. Kawasaki Ninja 250R investors bought when others mocked them as beginner bikes. Their common trait wasn't mechanical knowledge, it was pattern recognition. The current opportunity math is compelling. The GSX-S 1000 GT can be found new for $13,000 against an EMSRP of $13,799, with motivated dealers willing to negotiate further. The Rocket 3's $23,000 price point represents extraordinary value for its engineering content, with some dealers offering discounts up to 15% on remaining inventory. The NC750X's $9,500 asking price makes it perhaps the most undervalued motorcycle on the market relative to its capabilities. These buying windows won't remain open indefinitely. Dealer inventory cycles and model year changes will eliminate these opportunities within 12 to 18 months, as manufacturers either discontinue these underperforming models or reduce production to match demand. When that happens, the supply side of the equation changes permanently. The pattern recognition test is simple. If you can see the same characteristics in these three bikes that preceded every valuable motorcycle discovery throughout history, you understand the opportunity at hand. Limited production, market indifference, and engineering excellence combine to create the perfect conditions for future appreciation. The risk assessment overwhelmingly favors these purchases. Buying proven engineering at discount prices carries substantially less risk than paying premium prices for hyped machines with unknown reliability records. Even if the collector premium never materializes, these motorcycles offer superior ownership experiences and lower operating costs. Time sensitivity cannot be overstated. Dealer inventory cycles and model year changes will eliminate these specific opportunities within 12 to 18 months. Manufacturers are already reducing production allocations for these models, creating the artificial scarcity that always precedes value increases. This presents the collector's dilemma: buy now while prices are suppressed, or wait for market validation and pay premium prices later. History has consistently rewarded the former strategy while punishing the latter. The question ultimately becomes, are you willing to trust engineering excellence over marketing hype? Or will you be the buyer paying double in 3 years, wondering why you didn't see this coming when the pattern was so clear? The evidence, the history, and the opportunity all point to the same conclusion. These overlooked motorcycles represent the next wave of appreciation in a market that consistently rewards those who recognize value before the masses. The motorcycle collecting game rewards those who lead rather than follow. The GSX-S 1000 GT Rocket 3 and NC 750X sight, waiting for the discerning few who understand what's about to happen. The only question is whether you'll be among them. The luxury landscape isn't just shifting, it's being completely rewritten by those who recognize true quality. These three motorcycles reveal how engineering excellence eventually triumphs over marketing hype. What overlooked gems are hiding in your local dealership? Comment below with your predictions for the next sleeper hit, and subscribe now because this pattern of discovery is about to repeat, and you won't want to miss what happens next.